today, guys, we're going to discuss the sacking of Thomas Frank. Was it right for Spurs? Where did he go from now? You'll get all that in today's video, so remember, if you do enjoy this kind of content, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So Spurs have sacked Thomas Frank. Where did he go from now? This is the fifth manager they've sacked in the last couple of years. You've got Jose Mourinho before a cup final. You've got Conte. You've got, even go far back as Pochettino. You've got Ange Postecoglou. You've got Thomas Frank. The list goes on, and it's honestly so. It's so demoralising looking at Spurs. It's the Spurs way. I mean, Thomas Frank currently had Spurs sitting in 16th place. That is 5 points away from West Ham, who look they're actually gaining form. I mean, they lost the last minute to win it to Chelsea. They drew to Man United, so they're picking up form. Nottingham Forest have just sacked their manager. This is showing how close it is. Thomas Frank never won a game this year, which is mental. He got them into the Champions League round of 16, mind you, but I think his career was ended. Fans were never really on board with him. He held an Arsenal Cup, which was bizarre. He never knew he was holding an Arsenal Cup. I think that might be a load of crap. It just didn't look like he had the support from the Tottenham fans, and the fans are the most important thing in British football. You need to have the fans on board. But this kind of goes back to a thing, right? So before this video, I watched the segment of Ange Postecoglou on the overlap. And he kept repeating himself. Spurs, they're just confused. They don't know where they want to go. They want to be successful. But Ange says, there was multiple times, he's not saying that Dominic Solanke was a bad player by any means, but he said he tried to go for somebody else that would take Tottenham to the next level. But because of the wage structure and the transfer structure, that it would go against what the club stands for. And I think, well, that's why we can never classify Tottenham as a big club. In England, they spend money like mad. We all know that. But every once in a while, it's not bad spending money, because to replace a player like Harry Kane, it's so hard, and you can see the effect that Son leaving and Harry Kane leaving, what it's done. Thomas Frank obviously had big shoes to fill because he came in after a trophy win, and we all know that's what Tottenham's ultimate goal was, and done it. So why did they not keep him on? That's the kind of feeling. Ange also stated that he had that kind of feeling in the club. So why is that? And they felt the stigma. They don't believe in themselves at Tottenham. Is that due to money? They're not making as much money, so they're not willing to play. If that is a problem, that just shows you how football is kind of heading in the wrong direction. Is it a problem with you're going to players are going to Tottenham to play good? They're not going to Tottenham to win. It's a stepping stone essentially. There's so many questions that are, since this interview is obviously doing one next week as well, that will kind of gain a better insight. But I feel like this interview really blows the kind of Tottenham ownership up, because they don't seem to know what direction. They don't have a clear vision. If you look at clubs like, you could say even Manchester City, right? And Arsenal, Edu came in. They knew what kind of player Michael Arteta knew what kind of player he signed. He got Gabriel Saliba, Pretty sure they sent both of them out on loan. Bring them back, came into the first team. They signed players young to develop, and then sent them away to develop, and then they came back ready. And they had a clear model of fitting into a certain criteria that has now took them to challenging for titles. City, you look at that, they're very academy focused. They're very possession based focused, so they'll go for players who are more possession based. You look at Newcastle, they've upgraded all their facilities. They want players who are willing to play an Eddie Howe's pressing style. Got Barcelona, obviously La Masia, that is very hard to replicate though. You've got Ajax, who they're very focused on their academy. You might hear academy a lot, but it's crucial. Tottenham don't focus on their academy a lot. Obviously in Scotland we know that players like Mikey Moore and Don Scarlett have come through their academy, but look at them. They should be playing for Tottenham. They shouldn't be playing for Rangers and Hibs. Mikey Moore's obviously on loan, he'll probably go back to Tottenham, but apparently he has a relegation clause, so they'll be very lucky if they can keep on to him. If they do, that's a real question actually. Will Spurs get relegated? It's 5 points. And some of the fixtures they still have to play. I'm pretty sure they have to go Anfield away, they have to go, I'm positive they need to go to Stamford Bridge as well, and they play Arsenal in a couple of weeks, and Arsenal are going towards this league title and they want to smash their rival and rub it in their face, let's be honest. So I think there's a real possibility Spurs can get relegated. Under Ange, you kind of knew that they weren't going to get relegated. They were more focused on the Europa League, so that was a kind of a big, you could see it from afar that was never going. They were never getting relegated under Ange because the style of football he wasn't going to let that happen. But this year's different. They don't. The Champions League, right? But you tell me you would rather win a Champions League round of 16 game than get relegated? No, you want to keep your club, because if Spurs go down to the Championship, this is what's basically going to happen. They'll lose fans, they'll lose tourists. Let's be honest, these big clubs have that kind of plastic fan base. It's nothing against them, because it's just it's what they want to do. They want to get new viewership into the club. Their revenues will go drastically down, so how do they maintain that stadium? Obviously they've billionaire owners, but it was very hard to maintain a stadium like that with less money. Players won't sign for them. A lot of players will leave, and a lot of players, every Premier League club, no matter how big or small you are, have relegation contracts. As I said, like Mikey Moore, Dom Solanke, Tell, Javi Simons, all these good players will leave for pennies, and then they'll have to kind of restart as a club. It's not. I've never seen a club, I say as big as Spurs, like a big brand image going down. It doesn't happen that often. If they do go down, it would be crazy. And if it turns out that this is the same situation we have in the next 3 months, I'll make another video on it. West Ham, as I said, they're playing better. So the summary of this video, so obviously we've kind of summarised that Thomas Frank's got sacked. The boards don't know their vision. Ange Postecoglou includes comments, but who could they go for? Obviously we've got kind of a wide range of options. We've got De Zerbi, who's just left Marseille. We've got Areola, who's at Bournemouth. But they need a manager who's going into this knowing what the club want to do. They don't want to get another manager who's like, well, you're not doing what I want to do. You're not signing the players that I want to sign. So what is the point of me coming in? You get what I'm trying to say? So obviously I've only went over briefly what kind of managers Tottenham can go and get. But it's the board level that has to change, I think. Have your thoughts down below. Spurs fans, obviously, football fans in general, have your opinions, so use as well. I think Spurs are in a rot at the moment, and whether they can get out that relegation fiasco is questionable. So thanks for watching, guys, and good